Hello, bienvenue live at Roland-Garros, back with you on a lovely sunny evening. And it's on a day when we will confirm the final four in both the men's and women's competitions. If you had a ticket for today, you're in for an absolute treat because you had those bonus matches that were carried over from yesterday and the weather has held. Hashtag RG17 if you'd like to get in touch with us. We really do appreciate your comments, any questions you might have, and we're keeping an eye on them the whole time. We still do have some action taking place behind me. It involves the world #1 taking on Kei Nishikori. Alongside me in the studio, Nick and Camille. And Camille, you've just spent the last, 3 sets courtside on Chatrier?
Yeah, exactly. And
how was that?
It was great to be there, that close to the players. But it was such a weird match. Like Nishikori began, it was amazing. He was hitting the ball so hard. Murray couldn't do anything. And I think this match was, related to the level from Nishikori. Not really the level of Murray. He's very steady. He's constant. He's like defending a lot. And Nishikori, when he plays great, he just goes forward all the time, every time he had a chance in the first set. And then physically, we could feel that maybe he had a lack of energy. And then the match just changed. And Murray was there. He was constant. And he was waiting for Nishikori to get down. And that's what happened. And there was another moment important when Carlos Ramos gave a warning to Murray. And Murray got a little bit upset. And it gave him maybe some good aggressivity. Yeah. And maybe this moment was important for Murray. And then he began to play a little bit more aggressive. And then the match completely changed.
Well, I think because Andy Murray surprised all of us coming out flat, and Nishikori came out very welcoming. It's interesting you mentioned that warning because Andy Murray needed some sort of firing up today against Kei Nishikori, who has really had question marks around him this entire tournament. We weren't sure exactly how his ankle was doing, how his wrists were doing, but he's come in here, taken the first set. They've moved on here. There's been frustrations for both players, but Andy Murray seems to have this match in his control right now, but it hasn't been, I would say, the straightforward affair that maybe some people expected.
But it's exactly as Camille says, from Andy Murray, you get a certain level. From Kei Nishikori, we didn't know which Kei Nishikori would turn out on the court today. I mean, it's Fernando Verdasco who lost the first set 6-love. He comes in here, and as you say, he was so aggressive. He was at such a high place and tempo to take that first set, but he can't keep it up there.
Yeah, and it's a pity because when he started this match, wow, he could be #1 because he was playing too fast for Murray, and Murray is a great defender, so we were impressed, but he couldn't last, this level. And even in the third set, he comes back from a break, and there's a tie break, and he doesn't play the tie break. A lot of mistakes, and as if his mind was out. And I said, oh, maybe he should try to focus, and work on this problem because he's up and down all the time. But his level, when he's great, he's better than Murray today.
Right, it's time to find out where exactly we are at in the fourth set. Camille is up here, but Eli has replaced Camille courtside on Philippe Chatrier. Good evening, Eli.
Hi, guys. How are you doing? Hey, so it looks like the rookie semifinal series is going to end. The streak's going to end. You guys know what that is about it?
Tell us,
please.
So since 1985, there's always been a rookie in the semifinals. A rookie meaning his first semifinals at the French. If Andy Murray wins this, that streak ends.
Wow.
So they're 2 points away. And there's, a beautiful shot by Nishikori. You guys just missed that. I have a great view, sorry.
Yeah, we're jealous.
When the place goes quiet, it's like, something's happening. So 15-30, 30-15, Andy Murray, he's up 5-1. He's 2 points away from the semifinals.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Eli. We'll be back with Eli maybe in a couple of points' time,
right,
because I think the big thing about the position that you were in, that Eli's in, and that people tell us is how hard you hear them and feel them hitting that ball. It's so different. You're watching on television, you're listening on the radio, but when you are that close to the players, you talked about Nishikori and his level. He's like watching a computer game when he's at his best. He just zips around everywhere. But the way they hit that ball when you're that close to them.
Yeah, it's completely different. You can see their face, how they stare at the ball, how they stare at the crowd. You can see a lot of emotions, and you can hear the ball. On TV, you don't really hear. And Nishikori in the first set, it was impressive how hard he was hitting the ball, and the noise was amazing. And then when he started to become a little bit tired, the sound was not the same one.
Now I'm going to jump in because the noise behind us tells us match points got Andy Murray 6-1, and there he is, the world number one. He's through, he waves to the crowd. He did a little bit of talking to himself during that. It was a tough first set, he said, Camille, but he is through, and he will meet Stan Wawrinka in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's a rematch from the semi-finals from last year. A great win for Andy Murray to come through, and Murray won that semi, but it's actually Wawrinka who has the edge in their clay head-to-head.
And we're going to be watching the Wawrinka-Cilic match a little bit later, but it's time for our match of the day. We saw this on the running order, the order of play, and we thought this is the one to watch out for. It turned out to be the dismantling of the defending champion Dominic Thiem against Novak Djokovic.
He's got an all-round game for clay courts. He's a tough player to play against.
I like the conditions. It's a fast clay court which fits my game very well. You have a great feeling with it. Been some key points in the match. The first set was very, very long and very close. The first set I could easily lose, and I think it was the key for the first victory against him to win this close first set and then have a good start to the second set as well.
It was decided, I think, in the first set. You know, I lost that crucial break at the beginning of the second, and he started serving better, backing it up with the first shot. Was unable to hit the ball well, many unforced errors. He was just getting better and better and more confident as the match progressed.
I just had a positive win-error statistic today. That's very important. I think it was never the case against him before, and that's why at the end it was probably a little bit easier.
Qualification pour les demi-finales de l'Autrichien Dominic Thiem.
Camille, there are two parts to this. There's the victory for Dominic Thiem, revenge for Rome, the semi-finals, revenge for the semi-finals here last year. And then there's Djokovic and the continued head-scratching about exactly what is going on with the world number 2, who from Monday will be the world number 3.
Yeah, we saw an amazing Dominic Thiem, much better than we expected, and maybe disappointing Djokovic mentally in the third set. I mean, he was not there, and we are not used to that. We are used to see him fight, and today we have like two different feelings. We are really happy to see Dominic Thiem to this level, and maybe expecting a little bit more from Djokovic.
This was a career-defining win to me for Dominic Thiem. He's only dropped 37 games in this tournament through 5 matches. He comes in the slight underdog, perhaps, against a player that's so experienced on the Grand Slam stage and wins a very hard-fought first set and then rolled over Djokovic. And a lot of people saying he could win this tournament one day. Maybe he can win this tournament this year, but from now on, he sticks to me in the upper echelon of men's tennis.
No, it's an incredible result for Dominic Thiem, the way he played this match from start to finish. We are going to be hearing from his coach, Gunter Bresnik, exclusively in a little bit. But firstly, have a listen to this. This is from Novak Djokovic's press conference when someone asked him, would it be advisable if maybe he took a total break from tennis?
Trust me, I'm thinking about many things, you know, and especially in the last couple of months. But you know, I'm just trying to sense what's the best thing for me now. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes with the team and so forth. So I'm excited to work with Andre and the new team at the same time. I have responsibility towards the game itself, towards others, and so we'll see. Obviously it's not an easy decision to make, but I'll see how I feel anyway after Roland-Garros and then decide what to do next.
It does still feel, Camille, that there's a lot of things that Novak Djokovic has got to figure out.
Yeah, I think he thinks a lot. That's what he just said, and he thinks too much on court. You can see that he's hesitating. When he's playing great, he just goes for it. And today, I could see somebody just he didn't know what to do. With his backhand, that is really a very good strength for him. And I don't know, he was thinking too much. Maybe he has to just keep playing tennis.
So to watch this space really for Novak Djokovic. For Dominic Thiem, his competition continues. We were lucky enough last week to have Gunter Bresnik with us in the studio. We were lucky again today that following the match, we spoke to him following that victory.
I'm surprised to get through in 3 sets against Djokovic as a defending champion, and I think he also caught his game lately in the last few weeks, so it was a big surprise that it went that straight.
What was the conversation between you and Dominic after the match? What did Dominic's feeling on court was?
No, we didn't talk about it. The tournament is not finished yet.
No, but
we're gonna analyze everything after the tournament. Right now, I want him to be in good mood, enjoy it. He had a long phone call with his mother, his grandparents, and his father came a few days ago. So he feels really, really comfortable here. Also, the way the people treat him here. It's his favorite tournament, and I just want him to enjoy it as much as possible.
Next match might not be the same situation. Rafa Nadal waiting for him on the other side of the net. How do you prepare that? How do you mentally prepare that? What do you say to Dominic? Is there anything to be said?
There would be probably a lot of things could be said, but I think it makes no sense. They know each other pretty well. They played in the last few weeks a few times each other. Dominic was lucky to win one of those matches, but in Roland-Garros, in Philippe Chatrier especially, with Dominic hasn't played so far the last 2 years. He's so dominant here, and I would wish he would be on the other half of the draw, because I think they are the 2 best clay court players this year. And then I thought he could congratulate him on Sunday to his 10th title, so he has to go out in the semi-final.
Nick, when the draw came out, I think we were all a little bit saddened that Dominic Thiem did find himself in the same half of the draw as Rafa Nadal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we need to remind Gunter Bresnik he was on the show a week ago and picked Rafael Nadal to win the tournament. But I can assure you he's going to do everything to have Dominic ready to win a second match in a row, having beaten Rafa in Rome coming into that Friday semi.
That is the bottom half of the draw. The top half of the draw, we just saw Andy Murray come through against Kei Nishikori. Before that, there was a very straightforward win for the man we're still not really talking about. Former champion here, Stan Wawrinka, who increased his head-to-head against Marin Cilic, 12-2.
Very impressive. He was impressive, and he's been impressive since the beginning of this tournament. I think he's still a bit in the shadow because Wawrinka is always, behind Nadal. When we are talking about who's going to win this tournament, he's very impressive. He's fit. I mean, he can run. He can hit very hard, and because he knows how to place him when the ball is coming, then he could hit hard and not missing, and that's the point from Wawrinka this year. He's very constant with a very powerful game.
He just looks very relaxed, very comfortable, and I'm sure he's very happy, Nick, that no one's speaking about him.
Yeah, well, I actually wrote on my notes that he's in devastating form because I really feel that. I feel as though his tennis has spoken for itself. We haven't been speaking that much about him, but Yves Allegro was on our show yesterday, the Swiss tennis coach, and he talked about Stan is only gaining steam in this tournament, and now he comes up against Andy Murray, and I think that's a toss of the coin. These two guys had met in the semifinals a year ago, and now Stan just rolling through Marin Cilic. He's only getting more confident.
He really is. People describe him as a diesel engine. He takes a while to get going, but once he gets going, Camille, he's tough to beat and to stop.
Yeah, he's tough to beat, and he's maybe the only one who is capable of beating Nadal if he passed the team, test. Then Wawrinka, with this very powerful backhand, can be a big test for Rafael Nadal.
We have a couple of mouth-watering semi-finals coming up. But having just seen Stan Wawrinka come through in straight sets against Marin Cilic, I'm delighted to say that his coach, Magnus Norman, has joined Eli. Eli.
Magnus, thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations on the great win. Were you surprised at how easily, quote-unquote, did Stan win?
Yeah, I mean, Stan played a great match. I don't think Marin maybe did his best match today in the tournament. So those two things combined made it quite easy today.
Talk about Stan's situation. He comes into a Grand Slam. Nobody really talks about that much, and he's in semifinals and without really being tested.
No, he's playing great. I mean, I think he picked up his confidence last week in Geneva, winning the title there again, getting some matches, some confidence. And since the first match here, he's been playing really well and conserving energy and being really locked in and focused. So, yeah, it's looking good.
Next match, Andy Murray. How do you prepare a match against Andy Murray?
No, it's tough. It's going to be tough because he's such a great competitor. He's a great fighter, a good match player. So, it's going to be a tough match. Hopefully Stan can be able to play well and make it a little bit more even than last year, because last year when they played in the semis, I think Andy played really well. Stan maybe didn't play his best. So, yeah, we want to try to make it a little bit more even at least.
And finally, people have been saying that there's one guy who can beat Rafa in this tournament, and you're coaching him. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of guys. We have 4 guys left now. I think all of them are equally good, more or less. I think Rafa is maybe slightly the favorite, of course, to win the title. But also Dominic Thiem is playing some amazing tennis now, and he can, if he pulls off a performance like he did today against Novak, I think he's also very, very dangerous for Rafa. So, but yeah, Stan also, he has all the weapons. He can hit winners from the backhand side and the forehand side, and when he's really moving well and playing good in the defense, it's also quite difficult to beat.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Best of luck. And the next generation is ready to take over after you finish working with Stan.
Yeah, sure. She's enjoying her tennis here, so it's great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
She needs a bit more focus because she wasn't paying any attention to her father's interview. Eli Magnus, thank you very much. Magnus Norman, a very laid-back character. One of my favourite quotes from him came when he spoke in Monte Carlo about Stan Wawrinka, and he was asked, what do you do with Stan? Because sometimes he's focused, sometimes he's not. And he said, I, as his coach, I do not know which Stan is going to turn up on court every morning. It might be the really, really good Stan that can win a Grand Slam, or it might be the very bad Stan.
Maybe he's going to help him to figure out why he's good today, why... I mean, that's his job, not to change him, because he will always be like that, but maybe to make him realize what he's doing good, what he's thinking of when he's good, and to help him, reproduce it, every day.
Now, to complete our semi-final lineup, we have Rafa Nadal, and this is not really highlights of the match, it's the story of the game, Nick, because Pablo Carreño Busta, it was always going to be a massive mountain for the Spaniard to climb, but sadly, early on, he felt a niggle, he had treatment, and he wouldn't be able to continue.
Yeah, it was disappointing to see Carreño Busta here calling the trainer. He lost the first set 6-2, tried to continue, but ended up retiring with an abdomen problem against his countryman. But it's another pass for Rafael Nadal, who's dropped now a record just 22 games in 5 matches into the semifinals. You see the two guys embracing here. Obviously a nice moment for Spain. But Rafa actually has played so little tennis that he was asked in press, do you have enough match play under your belt? And Rafa said, listen, if I had a lot of five-setters, you guys would be asking me, have you played too much? He says, I've played what I've played. I'm going to go out on the practice court and be as prepared as possible for Friday. You can't blame the guy for the path that he's been given. But again, I use devastating for Wawrinka. You've got to use devastating for Rafa's form, too.
Camille, Rafa Nadal is a player who needs rhythm. That match was cut short, and it was no surprising that he was back on the practice courts a little bit later on just to keep that rhythm going, because he's got the day off tomorrow, doesn't play again till Friday.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he hasn't played that much, you know, against Carino Busta, and the first set was like quite easy for him, and he needs to hit. This morning he was there, you know, practicing early because he played at 11s. He never plays that early, so he's a great worker. He needs to hit the ball to feel well, and he knows that physically he's very resistant, so he can just go and keep playing without thinking, oh, I'm going to be tired tomorrow or in two days or 3 days. So that's a great point for him, because some players, they're always scared about, you know, losing energy. Nadal has plenty of energy, definitely.
Yes, he does.
And we've got our semi-final lineup complete. In the men's, we'll have Andy Murray, the last year's finalist and world #1, against former champion here, Stan Wawrinka, and Dominic Thiem against Rafa Nadal. That is a rematch of that match in Rome, where Dominic Thiem came through and took that one and then lost to Djokovic in the next round following that. Now, while we've had the players here, we've been speaking to them not just about tennis, but they've had to sit down and take the live at Roland-Garros quiz, and the latest person in the hot seat is the Canadian, the 5th seed, Milos Raonic.
Pete Sampras, my idol since growing up. Poutine, I've never had it, but it sounds better than maple syrup. Toronto, home's always good. I'd try to avoid both of them. Tennis shoes. Jim Carrey, obviously. Uber. I don't even know why I thought about it. I had to remember what Tinder was. I don't use it. Drake. A moose. The Toronto Raptors. Picasso right now. He's got a pretty amazing story, and I got to see his Guernica painting actually a few weeks ago in Madrid, which was pretty breathtaking. I don't think Timberlake's Canadian, so I got to go Justin Bieber here. I wish I could slam dunk better. I can hit my overheads quite okay.
A few things you may not have known, may not wanted to know about Milos Raonic, but now you do. Carrying on with our highlights from today, we've completed the men's semi-final lineup, so we've got some work to do in the women's draw, and we will start with what turned out to be a cracking match. It was a rematch of the final in Rome, but it didn't have the right ending because Simona Halep injured herself. How would that have turned out if she was fully fit? Maybe the way it turned out today. Elena Svitolina, former player of the year, against former finalist Simona Halep.
This one, good.
Elle se qualifie pour les demi-finales. Simona Halep.
Simona, well done. What amazing recovery from one set, 5-1, and you said as well 1 match point during the tiebreaker.
Well, I don't know how I came back. It was really tough. She was playing really, really hard and strong. She's a very tough opponent, but I was a little bit lucky, I can say. Also, the last ball of the second set, when I won the set, it was with the net. So I'm really happy that I could come back and play semi-final here in Paris.
Camille, you were commentating on that match. What a turnaround.
Yeah, Halep just came back from nowhere because she started the bat. Maybe she was a little bit more stressed than Svitolina, who just was hitting the ball so hard. She was feeling great, aggressive, with a good attitude, and she made the difference really quickly in the first set. And then she won the set, and she was leading the second. So we didn't see a good Halep. She was maybe nervous. She was not playing that aggressive, and then tie break. Svitolina just played like 4 backhands, that she gave a little to Halep, which was like a sign of maybe a weakness.
Yep.
And Halep just eat that, we say in French, se nourrir. And in the end, she won the tiebreak with a let, we could see, but she was not lucky only on this one. She just kept, believing. And in the end, Svitolina, she was so frustrated losing the second set. She couldn't, make it to come back and be mentally in the match.
Well, and Simona was so focused that she actually told reporters in press after the match she didn't even know that she had a match point. You hear Cedric Pioline tell her that on court. She didn't even realize, and that match point down was phenomenal. And as you said, Camille, it's just the fight of Simona Halep to come through. This, for me, we've had some great women's matches this tournament. This, for me, was the best.
Maybe that was a good thing that she didn't realize that she was match point down.
Definitely, but
Right?
maybe she was just focused on trying to do better because she was not playing that great. She didn't do a great match at the beginning, but she kept fighting, kept finding what was wrong and what she could do better. And I think that's why she's there now, because she's always thinking. And in the end, she was so focused on her game that maybe she didn't realize. And she's not lying, she's just, it's great.
Exactly.
Taking pride of place on Philippe Chatrier, the final French woman in the draw-in, Caroline Garcia, and she was taking on Karolina Pliskova, and it still makes me smile when I think of Pliskova because she comes into a press and she's going, I'm really playing badly, I'm not quite sure what I'm still doing here, I'm not that comfortable on clay. But she's through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, and she played a great match today because she had a very big test against Caroline Garcia. We talked about it. Caroline is a very aggressive player. She's so good. She returns in the court, putting a lot of pressure on Pliskova. And Pliskova didn't play that well, as she said. And wow, maybe it's the moment for Caroline Garcia to go to semi-final. And in the end, she had so much experience. Pliskova, she knew how to play a little bit better in the good moments. And Caroline just missed a little bit on this moment. So it made the difference, unfortunately, for the French people and the French crowd. But Pliskova played a very good match today.
I think Karolina Pliskova is enjoying herself more than she's letting on. She's now won 5 matches here. The serve's working. And Caroline Garcia, as you said, gave her a tough test today. The French crowd was very much in Garcia's corner. But Pliskova cleared the Grand Slam hurdle last year. She kept getting stuck in the 3rd round. She made the final of the U.S. Open, beat Serena Williams. She makes the quarters in Australia. She's now feeling more comfortable finding her best tennis. Even when it might not feel like it's there, she manages to get past a game Caroline Garcia to get into the semis. And now she's got Simona Halep, who she's going to have to make sure she tries to hit through in the semis, because as she showed today, Simona Halep is going to make you win against her.
There's a way here where Pliskova could be the new world #1 on Monday. Now, she just has to get to the final, but should Simona Halep get to the final and win it, she will be the new world #1. But whatever happens, if it ends now for Karolina Pliskova in the semi-final, she'll be the new world #2 on Monday. And for Caroline Garcia, she said at the beginning this year, it's about focusing on my singles. She stopped playing doubles to focus on singles, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, and I think she's really focused on Grand Slam, and she managed to deal with the pressure, and that's a very good sign for the rest of her career.
So here we go, this semi-final lineup. The semi-finals take place tomorrow, not before 3 o'clock local time. Jelena Ostapenko against Tamir Bacsinszky will start things off, and then Simona Halep against Karolina Pliskova. So that is your semi-final lineup. You saw there that Jelena Ostapenko will take on Tamir Bacsinszky. We spoke exclusively to Ostapenko's coach, Anabel Medina, the former Spanish player, on her chances and how she's been doing.
Well, both of us, we were very happy yesterday after the match. I think she played unbelievable match against Caroline. It was very difficult at the beginning with the win, but after she reacted very good, and she won the second and third set like 6-2. Looks like very easy. Of course, was not like this, but she's very happy. She reacted very good. I think me more than her, but we are very happy to be in the semifinals.
Tamir Bacsinszky is a player that's been in this situation before. What does Jelena have to do to rise to the situation? A major semifinal, her first time. How is she going to come and bring her best tennis as we've seen for most of this tournament?
I think she has just gone the court like one more match. I know that it's very difficult because she's going to play in a big crowd, but she already did yesterday, so she's already like used to stay in this situation. So just keep going with her game, play aggressive, and just enjoy. She's very young. She's in the semifinals, so it's going to be a very interesting match.
Nick, you spoke to Anabel Medina there. Clearly she has an effect on Jelena Ostapenko, but this semi-final, Jelena Ostapenko against Tamir Bacsinszky, how do you see this one going?
Well, Ostapenko seems to just be ignoring any sort of the pomp and circumstance of Grand Slam tennis and just playing her best tennis. I think it's interesting for Bacsinszky, who the last time we saw her in the semis here was up a set and a break on Serena Williams and couldn't close her. Now she's the favorite. I think that plays into Bacsinszky's favor because she doesn't have that pressure on her versus last time. But Ostapenko, wow, she has been able to swing through this draw, and I'm not going to say that she doesn't have the chance to do that tomorrow.
Simona Halep against Karolina Pliskova, Camille.
Well, it's going to be such a nice match because they have completely different games. And Halep is going to, you know, like fight to defend her side. And Pliskova, she will have to serve very good. Otherwise, Halep is there mentally and physically. We could see today it was a big fight against Svitolina, and she was there. She was thinking a lot, and I think she's going to make a very good match against Pliskova because she passed this one and she came back from nowhere. We said it. So I think it's a good point for her.
Our final will be between on Saturday.
Let's go.
I'm going to go Halep Bacsinszky.
I would say the same. So should I change it?
No, you
no, but Gigi, can you break the tie?
If that's how you feel,
break it, so.
I will go with Jelena Ostapenko to win the title.
There you go.
That's a good
You've
one.
said that now for a few days.
Well, we'll see what happens. And let us know what you think. Hashtag RG17 for your thoughts on who's going to win this title. What about those men's semi-finals on Friday? Who's going to make it through to the final? Who's going to win the title? Any thoughts? We'd love to have them. That is it for us for this evening for Live at Roland-Garros. Tomorrow you can join us on the Roland-Garros YouTube page and also on Facebook Live from 7 o'clock local time. As we look back on those women's semi-finals, we'll have action and reaction and special guests. We really hope you can join us tomorrow at 7 o'clock on Facebook Live and YouTube page. But we're going to leave you this evening with that first semi-final. Who will be the first woman through to the final? Will it be Jelena Ostapenko or Tamir Bacsinszky? Bye for now.
She's a really nice girl. I mean, to me, she was all the time very nice. And we practiced quite a few times together too. So I was happy for her that she was in the semifinal.
Her game is very different. She can mix it up a lot. She can play aggressive also. She can change the rhythm and everything. And I think I have to just stay aggressive and to just play my game.
We are sharing the same birthday, but lucky her, she's way younger than I am. But maybe lucky me, experience-wise, I don't know.